Hello, children. Today let us learn the lesson Footprints Without Feet, written by H. G. Wells. This story is about a scientist who discovers how to make himself invisible. As he was afraid of being discovered in London, where he had committed some crimes, he runs away to a remote village. However, he runs out of money and resorts to robbery using his advantage of invisibility. The lesson begins with two boys being surprised to see fresh footprints. They follow the footprints, but they don't find the person who has left those footprints. The footprints belonged to Griffin, a scientist who had discovered a rare drug which could make a person invisible. Though he was a brilliant scientist, he was rather a lawless person. His landlord disliked him and wanted to turn him out of his house. Griffin wanted to take his revenge. So he set fire to the house of his landlord and ran away. But he had to remove his clothes so that he was not caught. He became a wanderer without clothes, without a shelter, and without money. But it was not the right time to be in London without clothes, as it was midwinter. This was when the two boys had spotted the footprints. But Griffin managed to escape from the two boys. And he entered unseen into a big store for some warmth. After the store was closed at night, Griffin put on some clothes, ate some meat, had some coffee, and finally slept on a pile of quilts. Griffin overslept, and he woke up only when the shop was opened the next morning. On being seen and chased by the store assistants, he again took off his clothes so that they could not see him. Once again, Griffin had to face the cold winter. Then Griffin entered a theatrical company, hoping to get some clothes and some other things that could help him hide the empty space above his shoulders. A theatrical company is a company that produces and performs plays. So they would definitely have clothes and many other things. And Griffin knew that he could get all that he wanted from there. He found a suitable shop. He got all that he wanted, and he wore bandages on his face, dark glasses, a false nose, bushy side whiskers, and a large hat. He then robbed the shopkeeper of his money and escaped to the village of Iping. He rented 2 rooms at an inn in the village. He explained to Mrs. Hall, its owner, that he had met with an accident that had affected his face. He added that he did not want to be disturbed and also paid her in advance. But soon all his money was over. He had to pretend that he was waiting for a check that could arrive at any moment. Then something strange happened. A clergyman and his wife were awakened by some noises in their study room. When they came downstairs, they could hear the sound of money being taken from the desk where the money was kept. But now the money was missing, but they could not see anybody in the room. Something even more fascinating happened in the lives of the Halls. When Mrs. Hall entered Griffin's room, she and her husband were attacked by the furniture. This made Mrs. Hall think that the room was haunted by spirits. When the clergyman reported about the burglary to the police, Griffin was suspected of having a hand in it. So the village constable, Mr. Jaffers, came to arrest Griffin on suspicion. In the meanwhile, Mrs. Hall questioned Griffin and asked him to give an explanation for all the unusual happenings. This made Griffin lose his temper. He became furious and he threw off his bandages, whiskers, spectacles, and even his nose. The people were horrified to see a headless man. Mr. Jaffers tried his best to arrest a man who was becoming more and more invisible. People tried to help Jaffers to get hold of Griffin, but all in vain. Griffin managed to escape from the hands of the cop. So, dear children, this lesson gives us a message that science in wrong hands is not a blessing. Griffin was a brilliant scientist, but he did not use science for a good reason. He broke the law a number of times. He could have used his discovery for a good purpose, but he didn't do it. He misused a scientific discovery for his petty, selfish gains. Thank you for watching this video. Like, share, subscribe, and comment for suggestions.